I'm Mega Mike the Movie Man, and today got a Mega Movie plan. Today, I'm back with another Mega Movie News Roundup episode for you all. This is a segment on the channel where I cover the Mega Movie News stories to come out this week. I have 5 stories to cover with you all today, saving the most important story for the very end, which is Ezra Miller getting arrested. The Flash? What happened? I'm going to cover my thoughts on that story towards the end of the video, so stay throughout the entire video. Also, if I forget to cover any Mega Movie News story this week and you would like that video featured in a future movie news episode, go ahead and email me at megamikethemovieman@gmail.com. It is completely free. Just let me know your name and the movie news story you would like featured. But without further ado, let's get started. So before we get to the Ezra Miller story, we got another bad boy we got to talk about first. So this is our first Mega Movie News story here. This information is brought to us by Deadline. So we know the incident that happened with Will Smith, the slap heard around the world. I did a full-on Oscar review video covering that part. So if you missed that video, definitely go check out that video after this one is over. I will leave that link in the description below. But now we have to talk about what are going to be the consequences for Will Smith's action. So in this article, it mentions a few things that could happen, but apparently the Academy has called a meeting to review or investigate this incident, right? To me, this is probably a pretty quick investigation. You just got to watch the video, right? I mean, the video that millions and millions of people have probably already seen, that's been across the internet. We know what Will Smith did. So now we got to look at these consequences here. What could the Academy do under these circumstances? Now, they could do a few different things here. One thing I will say is they probably will not take away Will Smith's Oscar. And to me, I don't think they should do that, because Will Smith's performance in King Richard had nothing to do with this isolated incident here. So, I wouldn't take away his Oscar. And also, if you did that, then you'd have to take a lot of other Oscars away from other past incidents from other celebrities who had not so good actions either, to say the least, and some that were even a lot worse. But we will not get into those here. So, I think he keeps his Academy Award. But what else is going to be done? So they do mention that he could be face suspension or expulsion from Academy events, right? Meaning he wouldn't be invited back to the Oscars, okay? So I don't think this is going to be a permanent thing. I do think it would be along a suspension line of maybe a year or a couple years where he can't attend any of these Academy events, which once again, the Oscars would be a part of that, and then also would be ineligible to receive any Academy consideration for awards. So even if he were to be in a movie, then he could not get an Oscar for it, for example, or be nominated under these circumstances. So to me, that seems like a fair punishment, and that is a punishment that could happen, and we will have to see, how long is it? Is it suspension for a year, a couple of years, a few years, but definitely something should be done here under this circumstance, right? Violence is not okay. So Will Smith did cross the line, literally jumping on stage and crossing the line, and just took this whole situation to another level. So the Academy does have to send a message here. So there has to be some kind of consequence. And, what can the Academy do, right? What's within their power? And so I think suspension is a consequence that probably will happen, but we'll have to see what becomes official when it does. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And that is, something that's like, okay, everybody else, remember what happened with Will Smith. Remember the consequences he received. Let's not be doing any shenanigans like this again, right? Because if the Academy does not act on this, if there is no consequences with Will Smith, then this can get a lot more dangerous in a society type of level, right? People are going to start thinking it's okay. Well, hey, if I disagree with this person's joke here and I don't like what he said or what he said about somebody I cared about, well, then now it's okay to do something about it in a physical manner. And we don't want that to be the case, right? That will crumble our society. We can't have people resulting to violence. Whether the joke was in poor taste, whether it was an inappropriate joke, whether the joke maybe did go too far, still never crossing that line of going into violence. So, yes, the Academy does have to uphold their standards, because if they don't and it becomes, just a joke of a situation, then it's only going to get worse and worse for the Academy and Association overall. And remember, the Academy is supposed to be prestige, right? This is supposed to be taken seriously, right? The Oscars are supposed to be the prestigious award show. So they gotta ensure nothing like this ever happens again. So I think, yes, we take care of the consequences, make it fair consequences, don't go overboard, or make the punishment fit the crime, of course. And I think a suspension in this case would probably be the most likely scenario within the Academy's power, right? They can't just say, "Oh, this guy's banned from movies," right? They don't control that. I mean, other filmmakers can hire this star to perform. So, what is in the Academy's power to do, and what is more fair to do? Like I said, I think it's to me along the lines of a suspension for a certain length of time. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think of the Academy reviewing this incident? And do you think there's going to be consequences of some sort? And do you think there should be consequences? And what consequences do you think Will Smith should have, so we can prevent these violent incidents from ever occurring in the future? Because we don't want another Academy Award show to go like this, or any other type of event out there. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now to get into our second movie news story, and this is brought to us by Giant Freaking Robot, and apparently Bruce Willis is leaving acting, and this is some sad news we have to cover here. Apparently this was brought on due to a diagnosis of aphasia, if I'm saying that correctly, but this is a condition that affects language-based communication and can be brought on by things like brain damage incident, at least from the brief description that I've read about. Haven't really gone in and fully researched aphasia before. This is actually the first time I've heard about it. So, but it basically revolves around language-based communication, from what I understand. If I got that incorrect, I do apologize. But yeah, this is really sad news to hear. Of course, thoughts and well wishes go out to Bruce and his family. And, I hope everything is okay in the long run, of course. But yeah, apparently now Bruce Willis is no longer going to be acting anymore. So this was kind of some shocking, surprising news, because wow, when you think about it, an action star, Bruce Willis is one of those names that come up right away, that you just know. Yes, Bruce Willis. He's been in so many movies, so many beloved movies, important movies to people, movies that people still talk about to this day. I mean, Die Hard always gets brought up around Christmas time. Is it a Christmas movie? Is it not a Christmas movie? People have been disagreeing on this one forever. And yeah, I mean, you just always hear about movies that Bruce Willis has been in, and some beloved movies like Fifth Element. People really love that sci-fi action comedy movie. Also, things like the Unbreakable trilogy. Now, that is one of my favorite trilogies of all time. I like Unbreakable. I mean, Split was great, but then Bruce Willis coming back in Glass. I thought Glass was so well done. I think that one's underrated. I know some people disagree, but Unbreakable and Glass, I mean, awesome movies with Bruce Willis. I mean, it's just, sad news to hear that, hey, we are not going to be getting another movie from Bruce Willis. I mean, never say never. Anything's possible. I mean, anything could happen in the future, but at least for, the meantime, or what's most likely seemed to be, yeah, this is done acting for Bruce Willis right now. I don't think they mentioned the word retirement, but it does kind of seem like, hey, you know what? This is a time to retire, right? And it makes sense under the condition. Of course, acting involves language and communication. And if there's something that prevents you from doing that, then yeah, it would be tough to do a acting performance job. So that totally makes sense. I wonder if they would ever have him as like a cameo in something though in the future. I wonder if that would happen. I could see that maybe happening in the future, just to see him pop up again in something. Of course, when he's all taken care of and if everything's okay under the circumstances. But yeah, I mean, just kind of surprising news here that, wow, it's like just yesterday, it seemed like we were getting a new Bruce Willis movie like every other month. Yeah, they were going like straight to DVD, and maybe not everybody was watching them, and maybe they weren't getting the best reviews, and it was getting its own category at the Razzies. Yeah, but still, he put his heart and soul into, you know, a life of acting, being in Hollywood, performing for us, entertaining. And yeah, maybe we didn't like every single movie he did, but like I already mentioned, a few great ones that I really enjoyed. I know most people out there would say, yeah, there's some movie from Bruce Willis they really enjoyed, that they still remember the lines of dialogue to, that they still have a fun time with. And yeah, and you look at his filmography online of every movie he's been into, it's like a giant list, like, wow, and you just remember, oh, he was in that movie, he was in that one. I mean, it's a whole giant list. It's like, wow, this person really dedicated their life to acting. I mean, this is absolutely amazing. So, you know what? It is some sad news we had to cover here, but it's also a good time to, remember that, hey, you know what? He's been in some awesome movies, and we still have all these movies that have been done by Bruce Willis that we could keep going back, watching, and enjoying. And of course, if it's best for Bruce Willis's health and his family to step away from acting, then hey, that's what he got to do. That's what he got to do, right? You got to take care of your health first. That is always top priority. So yes, definitely has to be done. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of a good chance for us to, look back at, Bruce Willis's movie career and just, enjoy, wow, like these were some amazing movies we had some fun with. But let me know in the comments below, were you as shocked and surprised to hear this news as I was, that, wow, that we might not ever get another Bruce Willis movie ever again? And then also, let's make this one a little bit more positive. What is your favorite Bruce Willis movie of all time and why? And let's just have those fun movie discussions down below. Now to get into our third news story, and this is brought to us by Screen Rant, and we apparently have an It Origin series that is being developed for HBO Max. Now this was bittersweet news to me, because even though I do want to see the It character again, right, Pennywise, and returning to the town of Derry and flesh out an origin story, I was hoping that this was going to be a movie. And at first when I heard this news, I'm like, oh, this could be an awesome movie, couple hour little horror movie, or even less than a couple hours, tell us the origin story of when the It alien creature landed onto the town of Derry, and then how this basically like curse started. And I wanted to see that in a shorter form, higher budget in a movie, right? Because you can do higher budget in a movie where you get to see more of that budget on screen within that shorter amount of time. So what worries me now about it being in a TV series form is that now that budget has to get stretched out over a certain number of episodes. Now I'm not sure how many episodes they're going to have, but I mean, even if you said this was like 6 episodes, well, yeah, that budget is still being stretched across that many episodes. And I feel like, what if they add fluff to the story and they're just stretching it out to get, more episodes out of it, and it's not as intriguing or interesting. And to me, that is the part that's the bitter part, that even though I want to see this character again, I'm just not as excited for it being in a TV series form. Now, if I hear great things about it, of course I will check it out. But yeah, I mean, to me, I'm tougher on TV shows because TV shows take way more time than movies. And so if you get a bad TV series, then I'm like, wow, I just wasted so much time on this TV series. But then you also have, right, the Pennywise character from the It storyline. And those first two It movies, part one, part two, the newer ones, and even actually the original mini series one that was on TV first, and then they put it together into this format later on for home video. I actually thought that was pretty good as well. So to me, all of our content we have gotten so far has actually been good to actually great. I think It Part 2 is one of my more favorite horror movies. I think that one is actually really underrated. I know people like the first It Part 1 a lot, which I do really like, but I think It Part 2 does even a better job in some areas that I did enjoy seeing. So I wanted to see this character again, but yeah, on the TV format, I don't know, this loses the excitement for me. I got to be honest here, as I am always, and this, yeah, just brings down my excitement here for this one. But let me know in the comments below, are you excited for an It Origin series going to HBO Max? Are you gonna watch this one? Does this get you excited? Or like me, are you a little disappointed they did not put this into a movie form and make it a theatrical release? Let's have that discussion down below. Now to get into our fourth movie news topic, and apparently we got Tom Cruise versus Paramount, and this is brought to us by Screen Rant. And apparently the news story here is that we got some disagreements, right? Tom Cruise is getting upset with Paramount because apparently Paramount wants to make the next Mission Impossible movie, which will be Mission Impossible 7, a 45-day window before it ends up going to the Paramount Plus streaming service. And Tom Cruise is not happy with this. He is been in the business quite some time and he understands the importance of a longer theatrical window, and he wants it to be a 90-day theatrical window. Now, a lot of studios these days are going the way of the 45-day and then going to their streaming platform. And yeah, this is where the disagreement is. What do we do? Do we do the 90 days? Do we do the 45 days? And yeah, we're having some issues here because probably when Tom Cruise signed up for this movie, that he originally thought, yeah, it's going to be a typical movie where we do a 90-day theatrical release. You know, that was the standard for quite some time. But things have changed, right? Now we're in the streaming wars, and all these streaming platforms are trying to get content on there right away so they can compete with each other. And that's where now we have the struggle. So, what can be done here? Well, we can, of course, give Tom Cruise his 90-day theatrical window, or we can go with Paramount on this one and go the 45-day window. To me, I'm more of a compromiser, so I would like to see a compromise made here so we can get all the parties involved happy, at least to some extent. I mean, not every side's going to be fully happy. They're going to be disappointed with some part of it, but it's going to be better than just going one way or the other. So I'd probably meet in the middle there, go a 60-day theatrical window at least, because for a big blockbuster movie like this, I think it's crucial. Because if you go too short on a movie like this is a type of movie, at least this is how I would view it. Like, oh, you know what? I have Paramount Plus. So if this movie's going to be out on there in 45 days, I mean, that's what, only a little bit over like a month, it's like a month and a half, right? You know what? Do I need to rush out to the theater to see it? Maybe I could, but maybe I can wait as well. And I would have that thought process. Now, because I have my Regal subscription pass, of course I'm going to go out and see it, right? Review it for you all right away. But if I didn't have that subscription pass and I had to be a little bit more selective on movies, that is one where I'd maybe think about, should I just play the waiting game on this one? I know Tom Cruise doesn't want that to happen because that will impact the box office, that will impact the money that everybody could make on this movie, everybody involved. And so, yeah, you do not want to do that, especially with a franchise that has seemed to gain some momentum. You know, Fallout did really well and actually made some good money at the box office. So maybe they feel, hey, this next one can even make more money. People are catching up with the Mission Impossible franchise. And you know what? Like, I haven't seen any Mission Impossible movie yet. I know that's like the one franchise I haven't seen yet. But it's an opportunity where I could go back, hey, let me watch all these other movies getting hyped for this next one. And you know what? Go out and see this next one, right? Because I'm definitely going to go out to see this one for sure. But yeah, I mean, I understand the worries of Tom Cruise here. 45 days for a movie like this, yeah, I would say too short, especially all the hard work Tom Cruise put into this one, doing all those stunts, those dangerous stunts. Like, you know what? Hats off to Tom Cruise there. That's amazing. I can understand you don't want that box office there to be cut short. So I would go, let's go 60 days on this one because I understand Paramount's side too, right? They're in the streaming wars. They got to get content on there. I get it, but hey, Paramount, let's make a big chunk of money at the box office first with us theater goers. Get that money there. Don't leave that money on the table. And then put it on streaming. And then maybe we'll even do better on streaming because now you got such good word of mouth of people that saw it in theaters telling everybody else, right? Giving out these reviews that, hey, yeah, you know what, when it does get to, I know you don't want to go to the theater, but when it's on streaming, hey, check it out there. It's actually worth your time, definitely. Then that could even help the streaming service even more. So I would say let's go a compromise. Let's, not make everybody completely happy here, but let's not severely disappoint either side either. Let's meet in the middle. I'd go 60-day window. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Would you go a 60-day window like me, or would you go 45 days? Would you go 90 days, or would you do something completely different? And what would be your thought process behind that? What do you think is going to be the most successful strategy for the movie and Paramount overall in the long run? Let me know those thoughts down below. Now to get into our fifth and final and most important movie news topic we got to cover today, and this is first brought to us by AP News, and this is about Ezra Miller getting arrested. Now, we're talking about this because this can impact some pretty large movies, and that's why we're gonna, mention it here. So let's go over all the incidents that have been happening. So first, Ezra Miller arrested in a karaoke bar in Hawaii for apparently, lashing out at a karaoke singer and another person in the bar that was playing darts, going to basically try to attack these people in this bar. And this is just unacceptable behavior here. Like, what is our society going towards where we now see these celebrities that are just becoming more violent and just losing control, not staying composed and well mannered? I mean, like, what's going on here? And it's only Wednesday, everybody. Like, we just talked about Will Smith. Now we're talking about Ezra Miller. If you missed my Will Smith Oscar reviewed video, I'll link that one in the description below. Definitely check that one out after this one. But what is going on? It's only Wednesday, and now we have more of these stories to talk about. And Ezra Miller, like, what's going on here? Clearly, we need to get Ezra some help here because it just doesn't stop here with this arrest. I looked up another article that was brought to us from NBC News, and it talked about how there was a couple that has filed a restraining order against Ezra, and apparently Ezra was staying with this couple that he met up with in Hawaii, which to me is first kind of odd. Like, why are you staying with this random couple here in the first place? Like, can't you, afford your own place, Ezra? So that to me was a little odd at first, but okay, all right, fine. But then Ezra apparently was making a threat towards the couple, and the couple saying that Ezra stole from the couple, and it just is not good. Like, making some really derogatory comments towards the couple. And so you can't do that, Ezra. Like, Ezra, you can't be making threatening comments here. Like, you just can't be doing that. And it's just, wow, like, come on, Ezra. You have everything right now, it seems, on a silver platter of being a part of two big franchises. Like, come on, you're the Flash. Like, you're supposed to be a superhero. Like, you're supposed to be a role model for people. People should be looking up to you, but how can they now? Like, really? Like, come on, the Flash is my favorite DC hero, and this just kind of sours me on this right now. And wow, what are we going to do? So we need consequences for Ezra Miller now. We talked about consequences for Will Smith. We need some consequences for Ezra Miller because we can't allow this behavior to continue, right? Like Warner Brothers last time, a couple years ago, tried to sweep it under the rug, but we can't have this happen again because once again, the behaviors are going to get worse and worse and worse if you don't deal with it now, and it can, get really bad for other people involved pretty quickly. So we got to do something here, Warner Brothers. Now, Warner Brothers, what can you do? Well, we know Fantastic Beasts is coming out in April, so you can't do too much with that. But it does look like Warner Brothers has taken Ezra away from the marketing part of it now. And so, good call on that one, Warner Brothers. But we got to do something now about the Flash movie here. So, the Flash movie doesn't come out till 2023. Now, maybe they already pushed it back that far because they were thinking, oh, what are we going to have to do here? Are we going to have to refilm this movie and replace Ezra and replace the Flash character? Yeah, you know what? Maybe they do have to do that now. Yeah, it's going to cost some money, but it could cost even more money if Ezra, starts to lose his cool when he's talking with journalists and when he's promoting the Flash movie. And let's see he could lash out, he could get violent, and Warner Brothers, they can't have that as a company, right? They got to protect their brand. So I would say at this point, let's cut our losses and let's replace Ezra Miller as the Flash, and let's get another actor to do the job. And maybe you don't have to refilm everything, right? Like the back shots of the Flash, that's probably fine. When you got the costume on, that's probably fine. Just when you see Ezra's face, that's where you're going to need another actor there. Or I wonder if they could even do like some CGI effects and just, put on a different actor's face. That would be kind of interesting. I would, be interested to see how that could play out. But that's another possibility with the technology we have today. But something has to be done because once again, it's not a good sign here. And once again, it wasn't one incident. This is now a pattern. This is now multiple incidents that something has to be done about. And of course, we got to get Ezra some help. So hopefully the people close to Ezra, they're taking care of that. They're getting Ezra the help that is just necessary at this point. And of course, health is the number one thing. So that should be taken care of first. So yes, get the help going. But then for Warner Brothers, I think at the moment we have to, have some consequences here for the better long run of everybody involved. And this is probably just what has to be done at the moment. Now, maybe in the future when Ezra is better, right, health-wise, like we're good again, then yeah, we bring Ezra back to Warner Brothers and we try out a different project and make sure, everything goes okay. But I think at the moment we gotta, pump the brakes on some things and make some changes here. But that's just my thought at the moment. I mean, my thought on this could change in a week from now. Who knows? But I deeply care about, the Flash character, everybody involved here, the studio. I mean, it is a situation that is a tough one. There is no easy answer here for sure. There's pros and cons to every, possible solution, I guess you could say. So yeah, this one is definitely a tough one. But let me know in the comments below your thought on these incidents. If you were Warner Brothers, what would you do? And you know what? Like, what do you think is going to happen now with the Flash movie? Like, what can be done now? Let's see if we have these solutions here. Let me know those in the comments below. So that will do it for another Mega Movie News Roundup. And this was episode 13, everybody. Yes, there's been a lot of movie news to cover recently. If you missed the last couple of episodes, I will definitely link those in the description below. Of course, the more and more videos you watch from me, it really helps my channel out. So always much appreciate it. Also, if you're just discovering the channel for the first time, make sure you subscribe right now. I'm going to get you tons of movie news, movie reviews, rankings, movie hauls, unboxings, you name it. We'll talk all things movies on this channel. I don't want you to miss any of it. So make sure you subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss when I post a video.
Come on. Do it. Do it. Come on. Come on.
Also like the video. And this is Mega Mike the Movie Man reminding you to make every day a movie day.